Shalom, family. Glory be to God. Blessed be the Lamb. Let's talk marijuana on a superficial level. I mean, on a political level. On a political level, as in Texas, the Texas House has passed a bill, seemingly, that bans all THC. I like to see both sides of the argument. And for the first time, yesterday, when the state says marijuana, me being 61 years old, the image of marijuana that pops in my head is not the marijuana that pops in their head. Because again, they are the state controllers and arbiters of the law around this stuff. It's a different angle. It's a different angle. But what I can't understand is why the state just don't routinely regulate and inspect these businesses. And too, I ask myself, how high do you really have to be? You do realize that there's a limit to which one shouldn't cross. It is. Me, myself, I don't get high. I used to get high. Now, I don't get high anymore. Largely because I need all of my wits about me. And it's far more dangerous now than it was then. They're not just taking it out the ground and letting it dry out. They're going to start to plant their own stuff. So could nobody make any money off of it? In comes the capitalist once again. It started with hydroponics. Now you own weed that's increased in dosage of THC by at least 30 or 40%. Then they want to jack up the price from like an ounce of regular marijuana will cost you $40. An ounce of that stuff is going to cost you $400. But then freedom if you enact the right laws. Then I came across marijuana sprayed with fentanyl. So I asked you, at one point, summer before last, wherever I drove with my windows down in Houston, I could smell synthetic or synthetic mixed with fentanyl. This is on the freeway, moving at 60. I'm telling you, in every neighborhood, people are bent over and stooped over. How high do you got to be? Where you trying to go? None of us came up with all these vapes, gummies. We didn't do all that. They did that. Now, here's my position, because I know from the top down how these laws are usually enforced. Blacks will make up the bulk of people charged with that offense. It doesn't matter why, but we all know this, especially black folk. The narcotic is readily available on the street. This is what I don't understand. And this is where the political argument for me as a black man starts. I'm an American, but let's be clear. I have the experiences of a black man because I have been forced to experience that, or those experiences. And it is the only perspective that I know. It's the only reference point that I have. At any rate, the argument is, you don't mean to, but this will be the effect. No one would argue that. Not in being honest. That would be the effect. Young people will go to jail, hit with felonies over 3 grams of marijuana. You're not going to stop the test its potency unless you have one hell of a lawyer. No, you're going to write up something in the penal code that says that greater than, less than, this number of grams is going to get, rendered with no cognitive ability and incapacitated. And again, how high do you have to be, and how great is your pain that you have to self-medicate to that level? I, with my own eyes, have seen them spray garbage bags full of synthetic with some chemical spray. Garbage bag. Take yourself to the edge of depth over and over and over. It costs less than $2. Less than $2. I shit you not. It's readily available. $2. And you can die. I got family members, and I've seen them almost die. I got family members, and I've seen them lose their minds smoking the wrong thing. And even though it almost now, and you're not going to stop it. You're not going to stop it. For all kinds of reasons, you're not going to stop it. Okay? Because you're never going to do what it takes to actually stop anything. Seemingly, you just don't have it in you. But that's another argument for a whole nother day. So on the one side, we either watch our family members die and turn their brains into mush, because it kills your brain cells, and brain cells don't come back. So as you smoke, they didn't find fresh brain until way down in there. I'm just saying, man. So I understand the state, but I would like the state to understand us. That at this point, and by the way, why do you insist, as the governors and the governing people, that people suffer sober? Why do you, let me ask this again. Why do you insist that people in the midst of suffering suffer? The dominant population choice of drug is alcohol. One of the most dangerous drugs ever made. It's killed more people than pretty much, until you toss in fentanyl, remove fentanyl, than most drugs combined in all kinds of ways. Accidents, farm accidents, cirrhosis of the liver, domestic violence where people get shot and stabbed, drunk as hell, shootings at the damn club, drunk as hell, all natural. Even the paper is natural. But then you and your lust for money and profits at ever increasing rates caused all of this. That's not lost on us. That's not lost on us at all. So now, because your policies and your regulations have created this mess, and it did, you opened up for business. It did. Even when I don't really want to deal with, or talk about, or think about, it's one of those things that just is. So, how much money are you willing to spend? And this is, and I promise you, this is the last point right here. state. I, I asked this question: how much money will you lose in terms of tax revenue from the cannabis business if you can enforce this bill, as opposed to how much it's going to cost to lock people up? You would once again create a black market just when we have decided, hey, you know what? We don't have to deal with the dangerous street level dealers, and not all of them dangerous. I'm just saying, for example, risk getting robbed and shot along the way there, turned upside down. All this because I wanted a damn dime sack at the wrong time and the wrong day. I'm from the 80s and 90s. This is a fact. Not to mention that you what is the social consequences of shutting down you buys from somewhere a certain vape bar. One day he said, do you want to hit this? Take a toke, take a puff. As soon as it hit my mouth, I immediately let the smoke go. It never went nowhere in my lungs because immediately I could taste the synthetic and the fentanyl. Immediately had the smell, just like my other family members' room. The shit that passes ass out, see forced to watch me roll what you think is marijuana, and it is, smoke it, and never be impaired. So the standard would always be that impairment. I had no problem with that because I know I can beat you because I ain't never impaired. Never. Not anymore anyway. I don't get high. I told you so. I am never impaired. And you know this. So what will you do then? So now you move beyond the impairment standard to now all you have to do, just in case you didn't know, you have a nation of addicts, okay? Of one addict or the other. One addict or the other. So I don't think that you should pick and choose. I think that if you're going to get draconian across the board. Dry it up. Dry it up. But that won't happen. That won't happen. I'm just stating my position on the argument. Because I don't want the state to think that I'm up on them to smell it. So now you are to get to take 6 months of my life, a year of my life, 2 years of my life, state jail felony maximum. Because I had a joint in my car that doesn't impair me, that has the same effect on me that a shot of whiskey has on you. Well, let's just say I don't think that's doable. I'm not to tell you what to do or how about crack cocaine that once again black people had nothing to do with. It was the CIA, the government, who dumped crack in black neighborhoods and made money off both sides of the plate. 3 sides of the plate, really. And nobody went to jail after it destroyed millions of families, caused God knows how many murders, wars started over dope cuts, and everybody walks away without responsibility. And this is what this is being set up to be, the exact same thing. There's nothing but acreage upon acreage, upon acreage, upon more acreage. There was no Tennessee colony. It is an invention. Now, after they built the prison, it stayed empty 2-3 months. Then they started to trickle in. And then it was filled to capacity. Now, what happens? They have to hire guards, doctors, staff, and as well as pay the salaries of the jailers. The jailers have to commute cocaine that was put on the street by the government themselves. I am on fire tonight. That's the truth. Tens of thousands of black men lost their lives, lost their livelihoods. 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. They even had laws that if they find the drugs within 25 feet of you, they can put you in jail. That's how draconian it got. At any rate, just think about it. Everybody ought to think about it. Brown shit that with a horrible smell that they wrap in any kind of paper they can find. And then they almost die again. So it's like half a dozen in one hand and a dozen and a six in the other. I just hope that everyone understands our position. We don't want to fill your prisons over joints. Over joints. I mean, that would be crazy now, wouldn't it? I suggest that when you catch the scoundrels who's pushing these types of them kind of cases and word goes spread. Word's gonna spread. They're gonna do something different. They're gonna be burning that shit. Hell no. I'm just saying, man, look out for us and we look out for you. We ain't out to go to prison like we did in the 80s. This time, since we don't do enough hardcore drugs, it's gonna be nature's lettuce. Nature's little sedative that calm your nerves. And for that, we get 6 months. In 6 months, I lose my job. And now, because I don't have no job, I don't have a fucking apartment. Then things like the culture and background come into play, and understanding of others' cultures and backgrounds come into play. And we already know that from that interplay of disparate cultures in the current climate, that we will be hit. If my people don't know it, I know it. They will be hit disproportionately. Disproportionately. For example, in Houston, I don't know the exact numbers, we may make up 10% of the population to make this easy.